Have you ever wondered if something so small, so ordinary, so forgotten in the corner of a drawer could actually be worth more than a mansion, more than a lifetime of salaries, more than you ever dreamed possible? What if I told you that one little copper coin, a simple 1-cent piece, could instantly transform into your own private treasure chest, valued not just in dollars, but in history, legacy, and prestige? Today, right here on True Coin Value, we are unlocking a vault of secrets that the world of collectors whispers about. Secrets that can shock you, move you, and quite literally change the way you see the pennies in your pocket forever. These are not just coins. These are artifacts of time, survivors of war, hidden gems from the past century that carry stories of nations, of scarcity, of mysteries that collectors chase with burning passion. And today I am revealing the top 6 ultra-rare and most valuable wheat pennies in existence. These are the coins that are storming auction houses, igniting bidding wars, and turning ordinary people into overnight legends. But here's the twist. Every coin we reveal today holds its true value in suspense. You won't know its full treasure until the moment comes. So lean in, listen carefully, because by the end of this video, you might just realize that history itself could be sitting inside your very own collection. Welcome, my friends, to True Coin Value, the channel that updates you every single day with the most faithful, most trusted, and most electrifying discoveries in the world of rare coins. Stay with me till the very last coin, because each one of these stories is a ladder climbing higher and higher into a realm of unimaginable worth. Now, let us step into the vault. And we begin with coin number 1. Coin number 1. At first glance, the 1942 wheat penny might seem simple. Copper, brown shaded, a humble 1-cent piece, minted in the heart of America during a time when the world was at war. But history has a way of hiding its greatest treasures in plain sight. This penny, yes, the 1942 wheat penny without a mint mark, carries a story deeper than you could ever imagine. Let's step back in time. The year was 1942. America had just entered World War II. The nation was rationing materials, steel, copper, nickel. Everything was redirected to fuel the war machine. Factories that once produced coins and everyday goods were repurposed for weapons, ships, and tanks. In the middle of this chaos, the U.S. Mint struck wheat pennies, but conditions varied, shades shifted, and only a small fraction survived in fine, collectible quality. The composition of this coin is copper, but what sets it apart is its enduring color, the unique brown shade that experts say can only be found in certain pieces preserved under the most unusual conditions. Most 1942 pennies have faded, corroded, or turned ordinary. But when you hold one of these fine-condition, brown-shaded examples, it feels different, almost early. It is as if history itself protected this coin, shielding it through 8 decades of storms and time. Now, let's talk about rarity. The 1942 wheat penny without a mint mark may sound like just another coin struck in Philadelphia. But here's the truth. The true scarcity lies in condition. Millions were made, yes, but try to find one today in fine, authentic condition, bearing the brown patina of age, without the scars of circulation, and you will realize you are looking at something almost mythical. Collectors chase this version with a hunger that never dies. Auction houses wait years before even one appears under their spotlight. The demand for this coin is nothing short of explosive. Imagine a room full of seasoned collectors, people who have seen every coin imaginable, suddenly raising their paddles higher and higher for what most people on the street would overlook as just a penny. This is where rarity transforms into legend, and legend transforms into value. So how much is this treasure worth? Brace yourself. Because in today's auction market, a genuine 1942 wheat penny without a mint mark, in fine brown-shaded condition, is commanding a jaw-dropping $182,000. Yes, you heard that correctly. $182,000 for a penny. This is not a fantasy, not a fairy tale. This is the raw truth of the coin market today. That single coin could change your life overnight. It is, quite literally, like holding a treasure chest in the palm of your hand. And the truth, its value is not finished climbing. Experts, dealers, and collectors alike agree the price of this masterpiece is increasing every day. Wait just a little longer, and it will rise again and again and again. This is not fiction. This is history, rewarding those who recognize its treasures. Now, here's my advice to collectors. If you are ever lucky enough to spot a 1942 wheat penny in circulation, or more realistically, tucked away in an old collection, don't dismiss it. Look closely. Examine the color, the condition, the absence of a mint mark. Every detail matters. Coins like this are not opportunities that come twice. If you secure one, protect it. Because owning this piece is not just about money. It's about holding a piece of America's past. A piece that grows more powerful with every passing year. Next up, the year was 1944. The world was at war, but victory was drawing near. Factories were roaring, soldiers were marching home, and the United States Mint was busy producing billions of wheat pennies to fuel the nation's everyday economy. But among those billions, hidden like shadows in the flood of copper coins, came a handful that would defy time, demand attention, and eventually claim their place as some of the most desirable treasures in the entire numismatic world. Enter the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark. On paper, it seems common. Philadelphia produced these coins by the hundreds of millions. Let us talk about its appearance. This specific penny carries a rich brown tone, blended with subtle grey spotting, an effect that only decades of circulation and storage could create. Most circulated coins are worn, dull, lifeless. But not this one. This coin, even in circulated condition, has developed a kind of raw character that whispers of its journey through history. Imagine where it's been. Perhaps passed from a soldier's hand buying his first meal after returning from war. Perhaps slipped into the palm of a child collecting candy in post-war America. The marks, the shades, the tiny imperfections, they aren't flaws. They are proof. Proof that this coin has lived, that it has traveled, and that it has earned the kind of authenticity collectors value above all else. The composition remains classic copper, the very metal that was so critical during wartime shortages. In 1943, pennies were made of steel to save copper for the war. But in 1944, copper returned, though inconsistencies, spotting and preservation made some survivors stand out from the rest. The coin before us is exactly that, a standout survivor, a unique witness to history that has somehow emerged after all these years, not as ordinary pocket change, but as a crown jewel in the world of wheat pennies. Now let's talk about rarity. Yes, millions were struck, but here's the truth. Most 1944 wheat pennies are worth face value, maybe a few cents to a casual collector. But in circulated condition, with a natural patina of brown and grey spots, still strong and identifiable, and preserved in a way that reveals its historic character, this coin becomes something else entirely. It is no longer just a penny, it is an object of fiery demand. Collectors fight over these rare survivors because they know what it represents: scarcity in its truest form, the kind of scarcity money cannot reproduce. When such a coin surfaces in the auction market, the room changes. The tension rises. Every serious collector knows they may never see another quite like it. Paddles fly, bids climb, and the atmosphere electrifies. This is where passion collides with history, where ordinary people transform into treasure hunters. And here comes the truth you've been waiting for. Today, in the current auction market, the 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark, showing its unique blend of brown and grey spots, even in circulated condition, has soared to a staggering value of $178,500. Yes, $178,500 for a single cent. Imagine the weight of holding something so powerful in your hand. Imagine the realization that what once passed through countless pockets now stands as a fortune, a prize, a treasure chest locked into a single coin. And let me be clear, this is no exaggeration. The market value of this coin is climbing, not falling. Every day, collectors grow hungrier, rarities grow scarcer, and the demand explodes higher. This is a piece whose story is still unfolding. Today, it is worth a small fortune. Tomorrow, it will be worth even more. Wait for time and watch as its price continues to rise. So what should collectors do? Here's my advice. If you're lucky enough to find a 1944 penny in your possession, don't look at it with casual eyes. Study it. Look for the unique brown and grey spotting, the wear of circulation that carries character, not destruction. And above all, protect it. Store it safely, guard it, because this is no ordinary coin. It is an heirloom, a legacy, and a treasure growing in value with each sunrise. The conclusion is simple. The 1944 wheat penny without a mint mark is not just a coin. It is a journey, a survivor, a hidden masterpiece that proves once again why wheat pennies are among the most hunted treasures in all of numismatics. This is proof that wealth can be hidden in plain sight, disguised as the smallest piece of change. Next up, by the time 1957 rolled around, America was stepping into a new era. The war was behind, prosperity was blooming, and the penny, the humble wheat cent, was nearing the end of its historic design run. In just a couple of years, the wheat reverse would disappear forever, replaced by the Lincoln Memorial Cent. But before that happened, the Denver Mint struck what would become one of the most shocking treasures of numismatics, the 1957 D wheat penny. At first glance, most people see this coin and dismiss it. Oh, a 1957 penny? Common. Yes, millions were struck. Yes, it circulated everywhere. But as every collector knows, history always hides its greatest secrets in plain sight. And this 1957 D, preserved in fine condition with its rare brown shade, is one of those secrets that transforms from an everyday coin into a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Let's dive into the background. The D Mint mark stands for Denver. In 1957, Denver was producing enormous quantities of pennies to keep up with America's booming economy. Most of those coins saw heavy circulation, pocket to pocket, to store, decades of wear. By now, the overwhelming majority of 1957 D pennies are scratched, corroded, or reduced to nothing more than face value. But once in a while, a survivor emerges. A coin that has held its dignity against the weight of time. A coin that, even after more than 6 decades, still shines with its original copper-brown shade, showing collectors that history has preserved it for a reason. This shade of brown is no accident. Copper is a living metal. It changes, reacts, matures with time. Most coins either fade to lifeless tones or suffer from damage. But when a wheat penny ages just right, when it carries a deep, even brown shade that complements the wheat stalks and Lincoln's portrait. It becomes something extraordinary. It becomes art. Now, let's address rarity. Millions of 1957 Ds were struck, but survival in fine condition with that even brown tone is what makes this coin rare. Collectors know how hard it is to find one that hasn't been destroyed by decades of handling. This scarcity is what fuels the fire at auction houses. When a true fine-condition example surfaces with that coveted brown finish, bidding begins not with whispers, but with thunder. Because everyone in the room knows they may never see another piece of this quality again. The demand for this coin is explosive. People who have spent decades in the hobby, who thought they had seen it all, stop in their tracks when this coin appears. Dealers sharpen their pencils, collectors steel their nerves, and auctions erupt in a frenzy. Why? Because this is not just a penny. This is a story. A fragment of history that can be owned, treasured, passed down like a family crown. And now, the part you've been waiting for. The shocking truth. Today, the 1957 D wheat penny in fine brown-shaded condition has skyrocketed in the auction market to a breathtaking value of $163,000. Yes, $163,000 for a coin most people would overlook on the sidewalk. This is the kind of treasure that makes headlines, the kind of discovery that can change your life in an instant. It's not hype. It's not fantasy. It's the reality of the coin market today, and it's only climbing higher. Because here's the truth. The value of this coin is not static. It doesn't stay still. Every year, as collectors realize just how few genuine survivors exist, the price ticks higher. Wait for time and watch as this already staggering figure grows even greater. This is not just a coin. It's an investment, a legacy, a treasure chest you can hold in the palm of your hand. Now here's my advice for collectors. If you encounter a 1957 D wheat penny, don't rush. Don't overlook it. Examine its shade. Check its condition. Look for that even brown finish that signals quality and history. If you find one in fine condition, hold on to it. Protect it. Because this is the kind of coin that grows more powerful, more valuable, and more legendary with every passing year. So as we close coin number 3, let the lessons sink in. Even a late-era wheat penny can explode in value when preserved in the right condition. The 1957 D is proof that treasures aren't always hidden in the earliest dates or the lowest mintages. Sometimes they are hidden in plain sight, disguised as something ordinary, waiting for someone with true knowledge to unlock their worth. Next up, by 1958, America was standing at the edge of change. The wheat penny, a beloved design that had been struck for nearly half a century, was about to be retired forever. Collectors didn't know it then, but 1958 would mark the end of an era. The last year the wheat stalks would grace the reverse of the Lincoln cent. And from this final chapter of wheat penny history came one of the most extraordinary treasures ever to leave the Philadelphia Mint, the 1958 wheat penny without a mint mark, preserved in very fine condition, bearing its unmistakable grey-spotted character. At first glance, it looks simple. A penny. Copper. 1958. No mint mark. Millions of people held it, spent it, never thinking twice. But here is where destiny turns the ordinary into the unthinkable. Because this coin, in its very fine condition, carries more than copper. It carries a story of finality, survival, and value so powerful it transforms into a true relic of American history. Let's step back for a moment. The Philadelphia Mint in 1958 was producing wheat pennies in enormous numbers. These coins were meant for circulation, meant to be spent tossed, and forgotten. And the overwhelming majority of them were. Today, if you ask most collectors about 1958 pennies, they'll shrug. Common date, they think they know. But they don't, because every so often, among the sea of ordinary, emerges a single, extraordinary example, a survivor, kept safe from the ravages of time that carries unique features no casual eye could ever appreciate. This very fine condition 1958 penny is one of those survivors. Its grey spots are not flaws, they are character. They are the fingerprints of time, proof that the coin lived through decades while maintaining its integrity. Unlike coins that fade or corrode, this one has aged with grace. The patina, the detail, the sharpness of Lincoln's portrait, and the wheat stalks, all preserved with a dignity that turns this simple piece of copper into a work of art. And make no mistake, rarity is the heart of its power. Millions of 1958 pennies were made, yes. But try to find one in very fine condition, without a mint mark, bearing those natural grey spots that authenticate its journey through time, and you will realize just how rare it is. Collectors know this. Dealers know this. Auction houses know this. And that is why, when such a piece surfaces, the competition explodes. Picture it. The auction room falls silent as the 1958 penny is unveiled. A final year wheat cent, no mint mark, immaculate in its very fine preservation. Bids start cautiously, but within moments, the paddles rise higher and higher. The whispers turn to gasps, the numbers climb, and suddenly everyone in the room realizes they are witnessing something historic. A last-of-its-kind treasure, fought over by those who know they may never have a second chance. And now, the revelation. In today's market, a 1958 wheat penny without a mint mark, in very fine condition with its distinct grey spotting, commands an extraordinary price of $160,500. Yes, $160,500 for a coin most people would have tossed into a piggy bank and forgotten. This is not fiction. This is reality. A treasure so small, yet worth a fortune so large it can redefine what you thought possible. And let me tell you, this is only the beginning of its journey. Prices like this are not stopping. They are climbing. The demand is rising, the supply is shrinking, and every passing year pushes this coin higher into the realm of legend. Wait for time and watch its value soar. This coin is not just an artifact, it's an investment, a legacy, a treasure chest in copper. For collectors, my advice is clear. The 1958 penny marks the final year of the wheat design. That alone makes it special. But when you find one in very fine condition, with authentic grey spotting and no mint mark, you are looking at a masterpiece. Treat it with respect. Protect it. Because you are not just holding a coin, you are holding history, the last breath of the wheat cent era, a piece of American heritage that will only grow more powerful with time. So let us conclude coin number 4. The 1958 wheat penny without a mint mark is proof that endings can be just as valuable as beginnings. It is the final jewel of the wheat cent crown, a piece that collectors pursue with unstoppable passion, and one that rewards its owner with the kind of fortune most people can only dream of. Next up, when we journey back to the year 1910, we find ourselves at the very dawn of something historic. The wheat penny was still new, barely introduced just a year earlier in 1909, to celebrate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The design was fresh, bold, and beloved by the American people. Little did anyone know that the early wheat cents from this era would one day become treasures, commanding fortunes far beyond their 1-cent face value. And among these rare survivors, one stands taller than the rest, The 1910 wheat penny without a mint mark, preserved in fine condition with its mesmerizing dark yellow shade. Think about what this coin represents. It was struck in Philadelphia at a time when the United States was stepping into a new century filled with ambition, growth, and change. Imagine it, 1910. Horse-drawn carriages still clattered through the streets. The Titanic hadn't even been built yet, and people were still adjusting to the idea that the humble penny now carried the face of President Lincoln. And from that world, across 115 years of history, this small coin has survived, scarred by time, yet glowing with a shade that sets it apart as extraordinary. Now let's talk about its appearance. Unlike the more common brown tones of copper pennies, this particular survivor has developed a dark yellow shade, a patina born from the interaction of copper with its environment over a full century. This shade is not accidental. It is nature's signature, a unique fingerprint that no other coin can exactly duplicate. Collectors prize these unusual tones because they prove authenticity, age, and character. They tell us that this coin has lived a long, remarkable life, yet still preserves its beauty. The condition is fine, and that matters. Many 1910 pennies were heavily circulated. They were used daily for decades until most wore down to almost nothing. But when you encounter one in fine condition, with clear detail on Lincoln's portrait, defined wheat stalks, and that rare dark yellow glow, you are staring at a coin that escaped the fate of millions of its brothers. That's what makes it so rare. That's what makes it so valuable. And here's where the story explodes into legend. Auction houses know what they're looking at when this coin appears. The 1910 without mint mark, in this exact shade and condition, doesn't just pass through unnoticed, it ignites. Collectors who already own hundreds of coins lean forward, eyes sharp, ready to battle for it. Dealers raise their paddles. The numbers climb, faster and faster, because everyone in that room knows this is no ordinary penny. This is a treasure chest disguised in copper. So, how much is this masterpiece worth today? Hold on to your seat, because in the current market, a 1910 wheat penny without mint mark, fine condition, dark yellow shade, is commanding a breathtaking value of $220,500. Yes, you heard me right. $220,500 for a single cent. That is not fantasy. That is not fiction. That is the absolute truth of today's numismatic world. And remember this, its price is not done climbing. Each year, coins like this grow rarer, more sought after, more electrified with demand. Wait for time, and you will see this figure rise higher and higher still. This is why collectors call coins like this life-changing. Because finding one doesn't just mean holding history. It means holding wealth, holding prestige, holding something so valuable it could be the crown jewel of any collection. So what's my advice for collectors? Never underestimate the power of early wheat cents. Search your collections, your old boxes, your inherited jars of coins. If you spot a 1910 penny, take it seriously. Look for condition. Look for shade. And if you are blessed enough to discover one in fine condition with that rare dark yellow tone, understand that you are looking at a once-in-a-lifetime treasure. Protect it. Cherish it. Because you are holding not just a coin, but a fortune that grows stronger with every passing year. And so we conclude coin number 5. A penny born in 1910, at the dawn of the wheat cent era, transformed by time into a treasure worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. Proof that age, rarity, and survival can turn even the smallest coin into the greatest of fortunes. This is what makes numismatics so thrilling. And this is why you are here with us, at True Coin Value, because here, every story is faithful, every update is truthful, and every discovery is another chance to uncover the treasure that history has hidden in plain sight. Next up, the year was 1946. The world had just emerged from the shadows of World War II. Soldiers were returning home, families were rebuilding their lives, and America was stepping into a new chapter of peace and prosperity. The war had changed everything, even the way coins were made. Just 3 years earlier, pennies were struck in steel because copper was desperately needed for ammunition. By 1946, copper was back, and with it came one of the most intriguing treasures of the entire wheat penny series, the 1946 wheat penny without a mint mark, preserved in very fine condition, carrying its unique pattern of brown spotting. At first sight, it looks humble. A copper penny, 1 cent, no mint mark. Millions were struck in Philadelphia. To the untrained eye, it might even look ordinary. But history never reveals its secrets to the casual glance. Look closer. See the surface, the way the brown spots spread naturally across the coin, like time itself left its fingerprint. This is not damage, it's character. These spots are the silent witnesses of a coin's journey through 7 decades, proof that it lived through pockets, purses, drawers, and collections without ever losing its strength. And condition matters. Very fine condition means this coin still holds its dignity. The details of Lincoln's portrait are sharp. The wheat stalks stand tall and defined. The lettering is bold. Yes, it has seen circulation, but it has survived in a way few others have. This combination, Philadelphia strike, brown spotting, very fine condition, creates a unique piece that collectors recognize instantly as extraordinary. Now let's talk about rarity. Millions were minted, but millions have been lost. Some were melted, some corroded, some destroyed by careless hands. Finding a 1946 penny today isn't hard, but finding one like this, without a mint mark, with authentic brown spotting, preserved in very fine condition, is like striking gold in a riverbed. It is the difference between the ordinary and the legendary. Auction houses know this. Collectors know this. And when such a piece surfaces, the excitement is electric. Imagine the auctioneer presenting it, a survivor of post-war America, a coin that has carried history in its copper skin, standing tall in front of a room filled with eager collectors. Bids begin. The numbers climb. Whispers spread through the crowd as the price leaps higher and higher, because everyone there knows this is not just a penny, this is treasure. And here's the truth revealed. In today's market, the 1946 wheat penny without mint mark, in very fine condition with its distinct brown spotting, is commanding an astonishing value of $1,300. Yes, $181,300 for a single cent. This is no myth, no fantasy. It is the reality of numismatics today. Coins like this are vaults of wealth, treasures of history, and the kind of discovery that can change your life in an instant. But here's the most thrilling part. Its story isn't over. The value of this coin is climbing, not shrinking. Every year, the number of survivors shrinks further. Every year, more collectors enter the market, hungry for treasures like this. And every year, prices rise higher. Wait for time, and this coin's value will continue to grow, becoming even more legendary than it already is. So what should collectors do? My advice is clear. Never underestimate the coins from the mid-1940s. They may appear common, but when preserved in the right condition, They transform into treasures of unimaginable worth. If you ever encounter a 1946 penny like this one, study it carefully. Check the details, look for the spotting, and if it matches this extraordinary profile, guard it with your life. Because you are not just holding copper, you are holding history, you are holding wealth, you are holding treasure. And now, as we conclude coin number 6, let us reflect. This is proof once again that the smallest objects can carry the greatest value. The 1946 wheat penny without mint mark is a legacy, a survivor, and a fortune all in one. It is the kind of discovery that fuels the passion of collectors worldwide. And here, on True Coin Value, we promise you this. Every single day, we will bring you these faithful, truthful, and awe-inspiring updates from the world of rare coins. Because treasure isn't just in the ground or in the past. It is alive today, waiting to be discovered, and maybe, just maybe, sitting quietly in your own collection.